Imagine a world without the gentle hum of a bee. The air is still. The vibrant colors of a wildflower meadow have faded, replaced by dull greens and browns. Fields that once burst with life now lie quiet and barren. This is not a scene from a distant, desolate planet. It is a possible future for our own Earth, a future where bees have disappeared forever. The silence is profound, not just in the absence of their buzzing, but in the lack of life that they once supported. Our world would be unrecognizably different, a much quieter and less colorful place to live. This silent world would feel strangely empty. The simple pleasure of walking through a garden in bloom would be a memory of the past. Orchards, once heavy with fruit, would stand with bare branches. The sweet smell of clover on a summer's day would be gone. The small, tireless workers that we often take for granted are the architects of these beautiful landscapes. Without them, the intricate web of life begins to unravel in ways we are only just beginning to understand. It is a stark reminder of how even the smallest of creatures can have the most enormous impact on the world around us. The change would not only be visual, it would be a fundamental shift in the very fabric of our ecosystems. Many plants would fail to produce seeds or fruit, leading to their eventual decline. This loss would ripple outwards, affecting everything that depends on those plants for food and shelter. The entire structure of our natural world is built upon countless small connections, and the bee is a key that unlocks so much of it. To lose them is to lose a vital piece of the mechanism that keeps our planet healthy and thriving, a loss that would be felt for generations to come. From the highest mountain meadows to our very own back gardens, the absence of bees would be a constant, sorrowful presence. The world would lose a certain magic, a spark of natural wonder that these creatures provide. Their disappearance would signal a deep sickness in our environment, a warning that the balance has been critically disturbed. This is not merely about losing an insect, it is about losing a cornerstone of biodiversity. It is a future that we must strive to avoid, for the sake of the planet and for ourselves. Bees are nature's most important gardeners. They perform a vital task called pollination. As a bee flies from flower to flower, it searches for a sweet liquid called nectar. While it drinks, tiny grains of pollen like a fine yellow dust stick to its fuzzy body. When the bee travels to the next flower, some of this pollen rubs off. This simple act is extraordinary. It allows the plant to be fertilized, which means it can now produce seeds and grow fruit. This beautiful partnership between bee and flower has evolved over millions of years. Think of pollination as a delivery service for plants. Plants cannot move to find a mate, so they rely on helpers like bees to carry pollen for them. The bee is the perfect courier. Its journey from blossom to blossom ensures that genetic material is spread far and wide. This helps plants to be stronger and more resilient. Without this service, many species of plants would simply be unable to reproduce. They would be isolated, unable to create the next generation, and would slowly vanish from the landscape, one by one. This process is the foundation of so many ecosystems. The seeds that are created through pollination grow into new plants. These plants then provide food and shelter for countless other animals, from tiny insects to large mammals. The fruits that grow provide a rich source of energy for birds and other creatures, which in turn spread the seeds even further. It is a magnificent, interconnected cycle of life, and it all begins with the humble journey of a single bee. The bee is not just visiting a flower, it is weaving the very fabric of the natural world. So, when we see a bee buzzing around a flower, we are witnessing something truly remarkable. We are watching a keystone species at work. A keystone species is one that has an enormous effect on its environment relative to its abundance. The bee is a perfect example. Its daily work ensures the survival of thousands of plant species. This, in turn, supports the vast web of life that depends on those plants. The bee's role is not small, it is monumental, a critical piece in the great puzzle of nature. If bees were to disappear, our own dinner plates would look very different. So many of the foods we enjoy every day depend on these tiny pollinators. Imagine a breakfast without the sweet crunch of an apple or the juiciness of a strawberry. Think of a salad without cucumbers, or a dessert without blueberries or cherries. These foods, and hundreds more, rely on bees to transport pollen from one flower to another. Without bees, farmers would struggle to grow these crops, and our supermarkets would have far fewer choices available for us to eat. The list of bee-dependent crops is astonishingly long. Almonds, for example, are almost entirely dependent on honeybees for pollination. Every year, Millions of bees are transported to California just to pollinate the vast almond orchards. Other important crops include avocados, melons, broccoli, and squash. Even the coffee that many of us drink to start our day benefits from bee pollination. It is not just fruits and vegetables. The alfalfa hay used to feed dairy cows is pollinated by bees, meaning our supply of milk, cheese, and yogurt would also be affected. This would create a tremendous challenge for farmers all over the world. They would face smaller harvests and, in some cases, complete crop failure. The cost of producing food would skyrocket, making many healthy foods unaffordable for ordinary people. Our diets would likely become much less varied and nutritious, relying on wind-pollinated crops like wheat, rice, and corn. The vibrant colors and diverse flavors that we get from bee-pollinated produce would become a luxury. Our relationship with food would be fundamentally and sadly altered for the worse. The economic impact would be devastating. The global agricultural industry is a multi-trillion-dollar enterprise, and bees are responsible for a significant portion of that value. The loss of bees would lead to massive financial losses for farmers and entire national economies. Jobs would be lost, communities that depend on farming would suffer, and food security would become a major global concern. It shows how our own survival and prosperity are deeply connected to the health of these small, buzzing insects. We need them much more than they need us. The good news is that it is not too late to help our buzzing friends. People all around the world are now taking action to protect bees. One of the simplest and most effective ways to help is by planting bee-friendly flowers. Bees love plants like lavender, sunflowers, and clover. By creating a small patch of these flowers in our gardens, on our balconies, or in community spaces, we can provide a vital source of food for them. It is like setting up a small service station for these hardworking pollinators on their long journeys. Another important step is to reduce the use of harmful pesticides. Some chemical sprays used in farming and gardening can be very dangerous for bees, affecting their ability to navigate and find their way back to the hive. Many people are now choosing to use natural, organic methods to control pests in their gardens. Supporting farmers who use bee-friendly practices is also crucial. When we buy organic produce, we are often supporting a system of agriculture that works in harmony with nature, rather than against it, helping to protect bees and other beneficial insects. Scientists and beekeepers are also working hard to find solutions. They are studying bee diseases to find better treatments and breeding bees that are more resistant to threats like the varroa mite, a tiny parasite that harms honeybee colonies. Conservation groups are working to protect and restore natural habitats, ensuring that wild bees have safe places to nest and forage for food. Every effort, no matter how small it may seem, contributes to a larger movement to safeguard the future of these essential creatures. It is a collective responsibility that we all share. The bee is a powerful symbol of the intricate connections that sustain our planet. Its fate is intertwined with our own. Protecting bees is about more than just saving an insect. It is about protecting our food supply, our economies, and the beautiful biodiversity of our world. Each of us has a role to play. By taking small, thoughtful actions, we can collectively make a huge difference. We must work together to ensure that the gentle buzz of the bee continues to be the soundtrack of our springs and summers for all the generations to come.